Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, guys, and it is me, Mike Spider Slayer. And guys, we're getting ready to do another countdown video. Now, this week there's not that many comics to actually count down because I kind of toned it down this week because Villains Month is due out on Wednesday, and I'm getting a lot of books that week. And it's not just villain stuff, it's Marvel has stuff. Even some indies got some good stuff out. So there's a lot of great books coming out on Wednesday. So I decided to just tone it down. Only have 8 books to talk about this week. So with that being said, let's get started. Here we go. Number 8. Larfleeze issue number 3. If this was number 25, it would be number 25. If it was number 62, it would be number 62. That was your number 8 comic book. Number 7, Scarlet Spider, issue number 21. Oh, God. Anyway, this book here, it says, because you demanded it, Ben Reilly, the original Scarlet Spider. So I'm sure this book sold a lot of copies this week because it states something on this cover that's saying, hey, Ben Reilly is coming back. That's not the case. That is a false accusation in this actual issue. We have Kane, who hallucinates due to Kraven the Hunter, who makes him think he's seeing Kraven. And actually, he's seeing Ben Reilly, but in all actuality, it's not really him. When he gets to the end of the issue, he unmasks himself and it reveals that it's Kraven the Hunter. I felt that this issue was a big cop-out. I thought it was okay. I mean, I like Kraven the Hunter. It'll be interesting to see him in this actual series and fighting Kane. But to advertise that you have Ben Reilly, the true Scarlet Spider, it's just a cop-out, in my opinion. The issue itself was very weak. The artwork was changed towards the end. I did an in-depth review. This reminded me of like something like a Disney type of animation style. But I thought this issue was really weak. There's this, you meet our other supporting cast for the first time in quite a few issues, and you actually forgot about them for a while, except for Arcely. And again, I thought this issue was it was okay. It wasn't the best issue I've ever read, and if this is the best that Scarlet Spider has to offer, then I don't know. This issue might be in trouble. I mean, you have Kraven the Hunter here, which is a pretty big villain. So how they handle this next story arc will be truly interesting. You got Kraven's daughter there, Anna. And so I don't know. Again, for me, it was just average. It was 3 out of 5 stars. It's a cool cover. However, the story just didn't back up what it stated here, not in one bit. So I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. Number 6, Wolverine and the X-Men, issue number 35. This is the conclusion to the Hellfire Saga, part 5 of 5. This series was pretty solid. However, this issue for me, I thought it was good, but at the end of it, it's supposedly supposed to give you this big, oh my god, I can't believe it, but we already knew that this was happening. So I felt that it was a little bit of a letdown. There was lots going on in this issue, lots to look at, almost too much. It kind of overwhelmed you here. You got Wolverine and his crew trying to escape Cade Gilgore's school. We find out that Cade's pretty much gone crazy. His own people are going after him. They try to assassinate him. Toad's going after Paige, stripping away his, her flesh and trying to get her to calm down. You got freaking Quentin Quire kissing Heidi here. just a lot of stuff going on in this particular issue where you're like, oh my god, there's just almost too much. You see characters in here that they're trying to maybe force on you because you haven't seen all that much of Rachel Gray. Just a lot of things going on here. The best part that I thought in this issue was this actual part right here, is where you get to see our old pal Brew back to his normal self, and I was happy about that. Just to see an expression on his face and not some mindless creature was pretty awesome. And then you get to see at the end of it all how Beast is talking to Brew, how he felt, how he made his journey back into a sane or intelligent person again. But again, by the end of it all, and this is not really a spoiler, so I'm going to show this to you. We see it's Nightcrawler, obviously, and he sits there and he says some dialogue, and he says, "No still, no sign of them, and no word from your brothers. It's been so long, perhaps they've all forgotten me." And you got the Bamps are sitting around, and he goes, "Let's hope you're right. Let's hope the X-Men still remember their old friends, and that they're not afraid to risk their lives one more time." And obviously you see it, because you see Nightcrawler's tail, and you see his footprints, and you know it's him, and this leads on to the Battle of the Atom and things like that. So, again, it was an okay issue. It was predictable. If we didn't know Nightcrawler was coming back, this would be pretty good. This would actually be a lot better. So I gave this one 3.5 out of 5. And god damn it, Marvel, once you fix your ink stuff, because it gets all over, my fingerprints get all over the freaking covers. I know Chris Dark Avenger CA6 says this all the time, but there's some cheap covers, man, I tell you. Number 5, top 5. Avengers Arena issue number 14. Here we have X-23 on the cover, gorgeous cover, and she's like, "Bring it, bitches, I'm gonna kick your ass." And that's basically what she says there, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this issue is kind of like, it's not really a jumping on point, but it's more of a character development point where we learn about this character right here, which is Bloodstone. And it gives a pretty decent origin story of where he came from, how he became the way he is, and we see struggles between Bloodstone and Anchorism in this issue as well. And they're best friends, and we can see tension is mounting between the two on Murder World. Now, what I figured out last week is that Avengers Arena or whatnot is being canceled, but this is kind of like a beginning story for all these heroes, and I guess it's going to be going on to some other story, which will be interesting to see. So I guess that's why they're still continuing to tell, I guess, origin tales or where these characters came from, so you can get familiar with our particular characters here. Artwork is always consistent in this series. It's desirable. It's great to look at. The flashbacks are interesting as well. They kind of give it in a faded type of fashion, but this horror behind it, so it makes you look like you're digging deep into your mind. So I kind of like the way that was done in the issue. Also, now we get to see Hazmat and X-23 starting to do battle against each other, but there's this gas that X-23 is, I guess, triggers her, and it's called this trigger scent, and she basically goes after everybody, and she kills everything because of this trigger scent. Now, this could be what we saw from issue 1 when you saw Hazmat and X-23 fighting, because she was under the influence of trigger scent. So as the issue goes along, again, you get to see more origin stories of Bloodstone. What keeps him is evil in check. He wears this moonstone type of ring so he doesn't get all crazy and bad. But at the end of the issue, we see that X-23 is basically freaking out here under the trigger scent, and no one can stop her because she's basically unstoppable. Her healing factor is better than Wolverine's, and you can see here she's all beat up and whatnot. And we see Bloodstone, who's going to man up, take off the ring, and turn into some demon, and it looks like some badass battle is going to happen between the two. So this was an entertaining issue. Had good action, good story like usual, and great character development, and that's what makes this series so awesome for me. And I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5. Next, we have number 4. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 26. Now, I was anxiously waiting to really see Miles Morales go out here in his Spider-Man costume and kick ass and take names. But he kind of didn't do that in this issue. You saw him a little bit, and he didn't kind of kick ass, and he did not take names, that is for sure. The cover is pretty cool. You see all this background stuff going on in this cover, seeing all the people doing their things in their little apartments, which I truly liked. However, Brian Michael Bendis does a great job with this series, and you get some kind of like alternate cover here between, I guess, Nick Fury and Bombshell. So what does this issue have to talk about? Well, it's basically the origin of Bombshell. You get to learn about Bombshell's mom, how they did these experiments on her, and how Bombshell's mom was actually pregnant at the time of the experiment, and then that's how Bombshell became to be. So she's had her powers since she is birth, and she's not a mutant, and she makes plain statement about that as she's being interrogated. However, the artwork is really good here. You get to see some great pictures here of Jessica Drew Spider-Woman and Miles Morales Spider-Man working together for the first time in quite a few issues. There's some great dialogue, great paneling here as well when Miles sits there and goes to stop her with his spider webs, and he misses, and he's like, oh, damn, I'm kind of rusty. I haven't done this in a while. Because when you think about it, in our time, it's only been a few months, but in his time, it's been about a year and maybe 3 months. So interesting stuff here. Again, you get to see more origin tale of Bombshell and her mom. You get to see a little filler part of Cloak and Dagger where they stand at this particular point in time. And you get to see some stuff about Roxxon as well. By the end of the issue, you get to see Taskmaster, who's hired to actually take on our heroes to try to stop them, which the Ultimate Comics Taskmaster is pretty badass in my opinion. And this is what we get. He's face to face with Miles. So I love this issue. It was good. It was fun read. Usually Ultimate Comics Spider-Man is like #1 on my list, but there's a couple comics this week that are a lot better than this. Or not a lot better, but they were better. However, this I gave a 4 out of 5. Top three. Number 3, Red Lanterns issue number 25. It's the power of the Butcher. In this issue, you get to see the return of Atrocitus. He's being brought back by Dexter, who's the Red Lantern cat. And the cool thing is that Dexter can do constructs now, where Red Lanterns in the past they couldn't. But if you drink the blood of a particular Lantern that had this power, you would get that. The Red Lantern gets that exact power as well. And you get to see this flashback because you have Rancor who foams blood at his mouth. It drips into the blood lake, and Dexter actually drank some of it. So now he can form constructs. And he kind of formed a construct to restart Atrocitus' heart. So Atrocitus is alive and well now. And his mission is to get back at, obviously, Guy Gardner and find the ring and find out what's going on. And in the meantime here, you get to see a little bit of Kyle and his new Corps, and they got this new spaceship as like their fortress and place to sleep, which was really interesting. But you find out one cool thing here, and this was what was bugging me about this, is Guy Gardner really a traitor? Is he really working for Hal? And the case is that his loyalties lie with the Green Lanterns. That's right. He communicates back to Hal Jordan, and he has enough. And Hal said he'll come get him when he has enough. And he talks to him. He's like, I want out, Jordan. He's like, I want out. Come get me now. He's like, I killed somebody, and it felt good. And Hal's like, all right, hang tight. We'll come get you. The Blue Lanterns will come and get you. St. Walker will have them, pure you or whatnot. And he's like, okay. So as the issue goes along, you get to see the return of the Butcher, which is also dying. But Atrocitus is like, one more time. And Atrocitus and the Butcher merge together to form the ultimate, obviously, Red Lantern. And by the end of this issue, we see Hal is communicating with Guy Gardner once again to come back. And as that discussion is in progress, Belize is listening in. And she realizes that he is not a true Red Lantern. Really great issue. This was a fun read. Definitely, guys, Red Lanterns is an awesome book. You saw what I did with Larfleeze. That is a piece of shit book. The book has nothing to do with the lanterns, which is okay. However, it's garbage. The dialogue is dialogue heavy, doesn't make sense, it's ridiculous. This, on the other hand, is the opposite end of the spectrum. This is a great series, one of the better Green Lantern books right now. It makes you feel and want to follow for Guy Gardner and go through his journey as a Red Lantern. And what's going to happen in this series, I don't know. But this was an excellent, excellent read. This is 3 straight issues now where it's like one of my top books, and I'm giving this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing that I had a gripe was I wish that they kind of dragged out if Guy was going to be a Red or if he was communicating back to Hal. So that was the only gripe. That's why I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Next, number 2. The Flash, issue number 23. We get to see the Reverse Flash's who he is. You finally figure out who it is after months and months here. And once again, our artwork is truly consistent to the book. The paneling is a masterpiece. This book is always something to look at. Even when you see the beam being shot out of the gun, it is words, and it says DC Comics proudly presents, and obviously it's the Flash. And in this issue, you get to see a lot of dialogue between Patty and Iris, and you get to see, is there a possibility here of Patty, not being around with Barry Allen anymore, and how maybe Iris could actually be together with Barry. So really interesting stuff here. Paneling, again, top notch. We see Flash trying to go at it against Reverse Flash, trying to figure out what's going on, why he's doing these things, why he wants to go backwards in time. And we get to see, Patty here with her parents and their 30th wedding anniversary, and how Barry is not there for her. And all of a sudden, we find out a big thing that happens, and it finds out that Iris figures it out, and she does have powers because somehow she winds up in the battle between Reverse Flash, and herself. And again, great paneling. Look at this stuff right here. This is them running after each other, and the panels like follow. Oh, such like state-of-the-art new age things. It's so great. And we see that at the end of the issue, Reverse Flash, basically things go in his favor. He shoots this ray gun, and spoiler right here, so if you don't want to see it, just fast forward a little bit. But trying to get you guys to get on board with this series. I don't know how many people are really reading it, but he winds up shooting Iris, and you're like, oh no, you're like, is she dead? But at the end of it all, we figure out that the Reverse Flash is Iris's brother. That's right. And you're just like, oh no. And then in 2 weeks, you find out, it says Daniel West's secret origin is revealed in 2 weeks. So it's Daniel West who is the Reverse Flash, and you find out how he got that way. Oh yeah, and by the end of the issue, it looks like he absorbs Flash's powers here, and he's like some skeleton zombie guy. So really great stuff. Excellent. So dramatic, this issue. It's like it had a little bit of everything. And I truly enjoyed that so much. Just awesome stuff that this series delivers each and every month. It's got great artwork. It's got great character development. It's got love interest, like a love triangle thing going on. And now it's got Iris's brother here, who's the Reverse Flash. It's just like a drama. It's so fantastic. It's a great book. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5 too. This was a spectacular book. Last but not least, the #1 comic book of the week is Justice League issue 23, Trinity War, part 6 of 6. Guys, even though we knew what was going on in this particular book by the end of it, we knew that the crime syndicate was going to be in this book. It was, in this particular issue, the journey that got me to that last page, what made me go, oh my God, this is a fantastic book and a great conclusion to the first part, I guess. What do you want to call a series that's truly, I guess, continuing, because it continues in Forever Evil. Artwork by Ivan, I think it's pronounced Rice. Ivan Rice is perfect here. I love his artwork. He is the best artist for this story arc and for this series. We have these pinup pages that you see here that if you were any kid that decorated his room with comic books or background posters or whatever it is, this is the stuff that you want back there. It's tremendous art to look at. You can look at this for minutes and find different things and everything to look at to, you know, open up your eyes into this different world that DC has provided for us. You get to see pages like this where a sick Superman battles Wonder Woman because of this Pandora's box of what it's done to our heroes. It's let them see things in a different perspective, in an evil perspective. And by the end of the issue, we find out who the man in the top hat was, which is, that's right, it's Alfred. And we find out who our traitor was. Oh, we already knew that it was Adam, but she's the one that made Superman sick. She's the one that planted the kryptonite in Superman's brain, in his nerve endings, and what caused Dr. Light to freaking get fried. He's super sick now because of this. And we also find out the true traitor amongst the group. It's Cyborg. Oh, wait, hold on. It's not Vic. It's Cyborg himself. He separates his armor from Cyborg. And you're like, oh my God, holy shit. And it becomes this new crazy-ass creature, cyborg creature, called the Grid. And at this point, I'm like, oh my God, what else can they sit here and throw at us? And by the end of it all, again, you see Alfred opening the box, because he's obviously the one that opens the box. And it's not this evil thing, it's a doorway. And it's a doorway to Earth 3, which releases the crime syndicate. And the first person you see in this issue is Aquaman. And Aquaman, well, doesn't quite make it. He falls flat on his face dead. Oh darn, because I didn't like this type of Aquaman anyway. It reminded me of the 90s Aquaman. And by the end of it all, of course, you got to see the crime syndicate, which we knew who was coming. That consists of Ultraman and Superwoman and was it Power Ring and Owlman and I don't know, the Flash version of this guy. And you get to see them at the end. And you're like, man, oh man. And then it says the world belongs to the crime syndicate. And it just made you pumped for evil, for Forever Evil. It made you pumped for this, for Villains Month. So with that being said, and being that I read this entire issue knowing what was going to happen at the end of it, I just thought it was just a fun read and I enjoyed it, and it wasn't overly complicated. This was an event that was done right. DC took their time. They made sure they did it right. The only gripe I would have had is, why do we got to spoil everything on the internet before it comes out? You spend all this time making this event. Why are you going to make statements in your website saying that this is what's happening? This is how it happens. Let the readers read their books. Let them be surprised. You know, when we did not have the internet in the 90s, we were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And yes, it was hard for us to share these stories. But there's a way of doing it without spoiling it. It's okay once the issue's out. But however, before it comes out, before the series is even close to coming to this final issue, just let readers be surprised. Let them enjoy their comic, because then it'll create so much more discussion about what happens. But besides that, it was a phenomenal issue and a phenomenal conclusion to this first part of the Justice League. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5. I just overlooked the whole spoiler thing. So guys, there you have it. There's your countdown for the week. You saw my worst. You saw the best. And as always, guys, this is Mike Spider Slayer saying thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until the next comic book review, I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.